October weather, the bishop, with his blankets and coffee pot, attended by Jacinto, a young Indian from the Pecos Pueblo, whom he employed as guide, set off to visit the Indian missions in the West. He spent a night and a day at Albuquerque with the genial and popular Padre Gallegos. After Santa Fe, Albuquerque was the most important parish in the diocese. The priest belonged to an influential Mexican family, and he and the rancheros had run their church to suit themselves, making a very gay affair of it. The Padre Gallegos was 10 years older than the bishop. He could still dance and fandango 5 nights running, as if he could never have enough of it. He had many friends in the American colony with whom he played poker and went hunting, when he was not dancing with the Mexicans. His cellar was well stocked with wines from El Paso del Norte, whiskey from Taos, and great brandy from Bernalillo. He was genuinely hospitable, and the gambler down on his luck, the soldier sobering up, were always welcome at his table.
Father Valen, I have thoroughly examined the case of Father Gallegos, and mean to end the scandalous state of things well before Christmas. But on this visit, I am just going for a visit. How is it that there is no confirmation class awaiting me?
Senor Vicaro, it is my custom to confirm infants at their baptism. It is all the same in a Christian community like ours. We know they will receive religious instruction as they grow up, so we make Catholics of them in the beginning. Why not? Now, Senor Vicaro, will you require my attendance on your trip out among your missions? You see, I have had a severe attack of the gout.
Yes, Padre, I see that. Although I know you have just been dancing a few nights ago. No, you need not accompany me. I was just curious, though. When the last Mass has been celebrated, Mass at Acoma.
Well, it used to be my custom to go there in Passion Week, but the Acoma Indians are unreclaimed heathen at heart, and it seems worthless to bother them with the Mass. The last time I went out there, I was unable to get into the church at all. The Indians pretended they had not the key, that the governor had it, and that he had gone on Indian business up in the Cebolleta Mountains. These little Indians.
I thank you for your hospitality, Padre Gallegos. Please pray for me and my journey. I will stop the night at Isleta. Father Valen has said that I can learn much from the priest there, Padre Jesus de Vaca, an old white-haired man, almost blind, who has been at Isleta many years and still has won the confidence and affection of his Indians.
When he approached this pueblo of Isleta, gleaming white across the low plain of gray sand, Father Latour's spirit rose. It was beautiful, that warm, rich whiteness of the church and the clustered town, shaded by a few bright acacia trees, with their intense blue-green like the color of old paper window blinds. That tree always awakened pleasant memories, recalling the garden in the south of France where he used to visit his cousins. As he rode up to the church, the old priest came out to meet him, and after his salutation, stood looking at Father Latour, shading his failing eyes with his hand.
And can this be my bishop, so young a man?
They went to the priest's house by way of the garden, walled behind the church. This enclosure was filled with domesticated cactus plants, of many varieties and great size. It seemed the Padre loved them, and among these hung wicker cages made of willow twigs and full of parrots. There were even parrots hopping about the sandy path, with one wing clipped to keep them at home.
You see, my dear bishop, parrot feathers are much prized by my Indians as ornaments for their ceremonial robes, and I had long ago found I could please my parishioners by raising the birds.
After coming to the house by way of a garden full of parrots, Father Latour was amused to find that the sole ornament in the Padre's poor, bare little salo was a wooden parrot perched in a hoop that hung from the roof logs. While Father Jesus was instructing his Indian girl in the kitchen, the bishop took this carving down from its perch to examine it. It was cut from a single stick of wood, exactly the size of a living bird. The surface had the whiteness and velvety smoothness of very old wood. Though scarcely carved at all, merely smoothed into shape, it was strangely lifelike, a wooden pattern of parrots, as it were.
I see you have found my treasure. That, your grace, is probably the oldest thing in the pueblo, older than the pueblo itself. The parrot has always been the word of wonder and desire to the Pueblo Indians. In ancient times, its feathers were more valued than wampum and turquoises. Even before the Spaniards came, the pueblos of northern New Mexico used to send explorers along dangerous routes down into tropical Mexico to bring back, upon their arrival, to bring back upon their bodies a cargo of parrot feathers. To purchase these, the trader carried pouches full of turquoises. When, very rarely, a trader succeeded in bringing back a live bird to his people, it was paid divine honors, and its death threw the whole village into the deepest gloom. Even the bones were piously preserved. There is in Isleta even a parrot skull of great antiquity. My wooden bird was brought from an old man who was much indebted to me, and who was about to die without descendants. I had my eye upon the bird for years. The Indian told me that his ancestors, generations ago, had brought it with him from the mother Pueblo. I have had a fond belief that it was a portrait, done from life, of one of those rare birds in ancient times, carried up alive along all the long trail from the tropics.
Well, Padre, that was all cool and all, but can you tell me about the Indians?
I can only give you a good report of the Indians at Laguna and Acoma. I used to go to those pueblos to hold services when I was younger, and I have always found them friendly. At Acoma, you can see something very holy. I have there a portrait of Saint Joseph, sent to them by one of the kings of Spain, long ago, and it has worked many miracles. If the season is dry, the Acoma people take the picture down to their farms at Acomita, and it never fails to produce rain. They have rain when none falls in the country, and they have crops when the Laguna Indians have none.
They soon left Isleta, heading towards Acoma. As the morning wore on, they had to make their way through a sandstorm which quite obscured the sun. Jacinto knew the country well, having crossed it to go to religious dances at Laguna, but he rode with his head low and a purple handkerchief tied over his mouth. At noon, he alighted and collected through the greasewood to boil the bishop's coffee. They knelt on either side of the fire, the sand curling about them so that the bread became gritty as they ate it. The sun set red in an atmosphere murky with sand. Behind their camp, not far away, lay a group of great mesas. The bishop asked Jacinto if he knew the name of the nearest one of them.
No, I not know any name. I know Indian name.
And what is the Indian name?
The Laguna Indians call Snowbird Mountain.
That's very nice. Yes, that's a pretty name.
Oh, Indians have nice name too. The Laguna people think very funny for a big priest to be such a young man.
The governor say, how can I call him Padre when he is younger than my son?
I'm not very young at heart, Jacinto. How old are you, my boy?
26.
Have you a son?
One. Big, not very long board.
They relapsed into silence, which was their usual form of communication. The bishop sat drinking his coffee slowly out of the tin cup, keeping the pot near the embers. The sun had set down, the yellow rocks were turning gray. Down in the pueblo, the light of cook fires made red patches of the glassless windows, and the smell of pinyon smoke came softly through the still air. High above the horizon, the evening star flickered like a lamp just lit, and close beside it was another star, constant light, much smaller. Jacinto threw away the end of his cornhusk cigarette, and again spoke without being addressed.
Evening star, you see, Padre. Indians call him the guide. Like me.
The truth was, Jacinto liked the bishop's way of meeting people, thought he had the right tone with Padre Gallegos, the right tone with Padre Jesus, and that he had good manners with the Indians. In his experience, white people, when they addressed Indians, always put on a false face. There were many kinds of false faces. Father Valens, for example, was kindly but too vehement. The bishop put on none at all. He stood straight and turned the governor of Laguna, and his face underwent no change. Jacinto thought this was remarkable. Throughout the... That was beautiful.